Hey, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday care people. It's your boy, the Big Canucker here, and I just thought I would quickly throw up a video here. I have to leave here very shortly, so I just thought rather than do a whole bunch of editing, we'll just get right down to brass tacks, and yes, we'll go over this. So, what is 12 inches in white? Well, it used to be nothing, but now it is the DMT ceramic steel honing rod, and some would say maybe kind of almost a little bit of a sharpening rod. So this one here is, like I said, I have been trying to find something that will quickly kind of hone my knives and give them a little bit of a, keep them kind of sharpened, my kitchen knives especially. Now I've got, of course, a steel in my knife block, and what your steel does, as opposed to say something like this ceramic rod here, is the steel takes your edge. So your edge, as you're using it, you've got little kind of micro serrations in it, and at a microscopic level. And so what happens is, as you start to use them, they kind of flatten out a little bit. So you use your steel, and your steel hones the edge, and it puts all those little jagged edges of metal on the end of your blade, on the edge of your blade, and it straightens them all out, and it helps them to cut and go through the material quite a bit longer without a sharpening. So what you're in fact doing is honing. Now you are removing a tiny bit of steel when you're using your steel hone. You'll notice if you've had the same knife block for a long time and you put your steel in there, you'll notice that around that hole there's a little bit of steel that kind of flakes off there, and that's just simply because as those edges kind of bend and straighten, and they fatigue and they kind of break off a little bit. Now, this is going to do much the same thing, but it's also going to sharpen the edge ever so slightly. So this is the 12-inch DMT. Some people call it a sharpening rod. Some people call it a steel ceramic rod. Some people call it a hone. It's got many different names, and and it has a few uses too as well. So the biggest thing what you're going to do is you're going to take your edge and you're going to realign your edge too as well, but you're also going to take off quite a bit more steel. So just to give you an idea here we have my regular honing steel here, and all it is just this steel is harder. It's a hardened steel. It's harder than your edge. That's why it's able to align it. And what we'll do here is we'll just give this a little bit of a couple of strokes here, and you'll be able to hear. There. And so now if this wasn't sharp, now it has touched up that edge just a little bit, for sure. But if you have a look here, we can see here on a white cloth that there's no kind of steel there, and just even on here, there's no real steel kind of left behind. So it's not really taking off any steel, it's just aligning those edges. Now if we do the exact same thing on this hone here with the ceramic, and you'll see that it'll actually trail, you'll see some steel trail on there, so you can see that little trail of steel here. And as you can see, that's actually what's happening, is it not only is it aligning that edge, it's also polishing that edge ever so slightly. But I mean, you are not taking a lot of steel off here, enough to perhaps be noticeable on a white cloth or something. We'll see. First, you can notice here, not really there, but you might not be able to see it. Oops, you might not see that it will take off a lot of that steel, but you can see that it has left some steel behind, right? You can see here on the thing, you can see on the rod, you can actually see the trail of steel where it's actually just taking off an ever so slight edge. And it is, like I said, it is polishing the edge, and this is now insanely sharp. So this DMT steel ceramic is what they call it. You've actually got 12 inches. It is actually as you can see here, somebody must have kind of chipped it a little bit. So you don't have, this isn't a completely solid ceramic rod, where you get some of those ceramic rods that come from chef places that are full ceramic, and they are kind of brittle. I mean, if you drop it, it will break. Where this one here is actually a aluminum rod with ceramic coating on it, so That's why it won't break like a regular ceramic rod. If you happen to drop it, and something like this is not going to break either one of them because it's got a little bit of give. But you've got some stuff, like if you've got a kitchen with some, let's just say some granite countertops, and you slip and you drop your rod. If you've got a straight ceramic rod, hey, you know what? That thing could snap or break or shatter, where this one is not going to. You may chip a piece out of it, but it's not going to break like a regular ceramic rod. Now, the other thing that's really, really nice about this is you've got a nice big D handle, a D ring here to hang this up inside your kitchen. A lot of people have these hanging off hooks, and it's color coded too as well. So if you do have this inside a knife block and just the handle is sticking out, this one here, white, shows that it is ceramic. There is a green and a red one for the diamond steels too as well, that they're actually a steel rod with some diamond particles embedded into it, so they sharpen quite a bit more. So if you had to put a, let's just say, a grit level on this, this is, according to DMT, it is 7 micron, 2200 mesh, or around 2900 grit. Now, this has been used for a little bit, so it does smooth out a little bit. So I'm going to say this is probably right around the 3000 grit. Now, you're not going to use this to sharpen a whole bunch. This is mostly to keep your edge aligned and to just keep it nice and really, really nice, and just that crazy hair popping edge that that you want inside your kitchen. Now they say a dull knife is a dangerous knife in a kitchen, and a big part of that is because you're pressing too hard, and then your knife can become out of control, especially if it slips, or you slip, you go into your finger, and then boom, off goes the tip of your finger. You definitely don't want to have a dull knife in the kitchen. Now, some other really, really nice things about this is it's got a really nice big guard on it to hide your hands. So now some people, you'll see them, they'll go back and forth this way, right? And you can see them going really crazy fast. That's just not my style. I like to hold it flat. I like to go my angle, my angle, my angle, my angle. That's how I like to use them. Another way that they do, and I'm not sure if I have enough room here, is if you actually hold this up like this. Some people will take it, they'll get a cloth because you don't want to be slipping, especially a wet cloth. You'll place the edge on it like that, and we'll make sure that we've got enough that you can see it in the camera. And then they'll go down this way, and then they'll go down this way. And it allows you to look head on to see where your angle is too as well. So this seems to be the way, if you're really just learning out, starting with a diamond or hone, this seems to be the safest, easiest way to learn. And then you're just going back and forth, right? So that seems to be a really, really good way. It is an incredibly, it is a really, really excellent hone. These edges are just absolutely singing. So now another one that I have a really hard time I hate sharpening this because of the flex, and I know that I'm going to get some grief out there, is if you're pressing too hard on your rod, on your stone, maybe you're doing it wrong. So, and you're right, because you're losing control. But a lot of it is just plain old patience. If you've got the patience to do many, many light strokes, you're going to do a lot better job than trying to force it to cut into it. And if you've got something like this where it does actually sharpen and polish a little bit, I think that's a little bit nicer than just a straight steel, where the steel just aligns the edges. This ceramic is going to sharpen and polish ever so slightly. Like I said, you're not going to use a lot. There is different honing rods here that have got different grits, so you can get some of the diamond impregnated steels here by DMT, and they are a lot coarser than this ceramic. So that just gives you more, you're going to leave more steel behind, and you're just going to use it more of a sharpening technique than you are going to use it as a honing technique. And then that's just, oh yeah. So I don't have my forefinger, to be able to touch. I can just use my 3 fingers there. And you can see that it has, especially down here, it is really, really sharpening this up. And that just gives you an idea of this. Now this here is, you're looking at about $69 to $65, depending upon the websites that you go have a look at these. quite a bit more expensive than I think some steels out there. You know, a good chef steel will run you kind of your mid 20s, you know, up to $100 depending upon like the handle material, and some of these ceramic rods too as well. I looked on Amazon, and you can get a ceramic rod for $12. It's not going to be a 12-inch ceramic rod, and it may not be an aluminum core, and you know, but it will be a ceramic rod for $12. This particular one here with this handle here that is unbreakable, the large guard, the 12 inches long, and believe me, you know what, when you're holding some of these knives, especially some of these big long cutting knives, this extra length does do you know, good for you. The other thing too is this handle here is not only is it, you know, a nice kind of a plastic handle. It is, I'm not gonna say biodegradable. What is the word they use for it? They use that it's oh my goodness, trying to find the word for it, where it doesn't pick up bacteria and stuff like a lot of different porous plastics will too as well. So it is a lot cleaner handle than what you'd have in, say, something that's a lot porous that you can, you know, get sick from it, some food poisoning. This is going to be quite a bit more healthy for you. Now, if you want to, though, these here, because they are leaving little bits of steel behind, you do need to clean these occasionally in order for them to retain their effectiveness, because as it starts to plug up with steel, it's going to cut less. It'll still align, but it won't cut like a sharpening stone will. So my best thing that I have found to use this to clean this is just a magic eraser and a little bit of hot water. And you basically just turn your magic eraser, and you can see that it pulls the steel out there like nothing. You can use some other things too as well, like a wet cloth and some barkeeper's friend. Even, you know, a really heavy pen eraser will take a lot of that steel out of there. They say you can throw this in the dishwasher to clean them, but I've not had, and that will clean. Maybe it'll clean and sterilize it, or, you know, we'll get some of the food particles out, but it doesn't remove the steel like I think a magic eraser is. So if you want to use it, use the magic eraser. Now, this doesn't need any oil either. You can use it wet or dry. I happen to just use it dry. It's just so simple and easy to use. And yeah, I ended up picking this up pre-owned, and it was on Kijiji. It was $10, and for me, it was an absolute no-brainer. I would have to think a little bit heavier if it was $70 coming out of my pocket. But still, I think it's a very, very effective tool for keeping your kitchen knives absolutely razor sharp. I would recommend it. You know what? Yes, I think I would. Just based upon the fact that this has become my favorite knife, and it is just absolutely singing sharp right now. I think I would. Yes, I would recommend this. You know, the more I think about it, I think this is an absolutely fantastic tool to have in your kitchen. All right. So, hope this helped you out. Hope this brought you some information. Hope you had a little bit of fun while you were here stopping by. Please don't forget to stay safe. Don't forget to also give me the thumbs up, as well as click that subscribe button. I appreciate it so much, you guys. Keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is Big Canucker saying adios.